Star quarterback Justin Herbert has come under some scrutiny because of an incident that happened post-game with a reporter, but I think people are overreacting in a big way.
You are Locked On Chargers, your daily podcast on the Los Angeles Chargers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, and welcome into the Locked On Chargers podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Wade, joined as always by my co-host, David Droegemeier, and we've been covering the Chargers now for 10 seasons, but this is our 8th year as the host of the Locked On Chargers podcast, bringing you your team every day. Thank you to all the everydayers out there for making us your first listen and also helping us become the #1 sports podcast network. But to make sure you never miss the show, go subscribe or follow for free on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel and listen wherever you get your podcast from. David, what do we got today?
Something happened post-game that I think a lot of people took out of context, and I think we're here to clear that up in regards to Justin Herbert. And the one thing we never thought we were going to be talking about is the return of the great Chargers quarterback, Philip Rivers, back in the NFL, signed to the Colts practice squad. So we got to uncover all of that. And the OG, Unc Tony Jefferson, has been one of the absolute best stories in the NFL this year. He has been an invaluable member to one of the best pass defenses in the league.
Yeah, and it's just really overcome every odd along the way. But today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com to place your NFL live bets all season long. David, it is Buy or Sell Tuesday, getting into the biggest Charger storylines and overreactions. And one of the things I didn't think that we were going to be getting into was a big-time overreaction based on something that happened after the game. Obviously, we're doing this game a day late, so it's Buy or Sell Wednesday, but Justin Herbert embroiled in controversy was not on my bingo card for someone who's basically made a living out of not becoming the story and not making himself the center of the tension. Those exact things are what put him into the spotlight in this post-game interaction that he had with Laura Rutledge, who basically came up to him after the game, super normal stuff, where she ends up asking him, hey, can I get an interview? While she's already live, which is pretty rare. The thing is usually already set up by the time you're seeing these people on your screen. He says, no, I'm going to go celebrate with my teammates. She says, hey, can I get another one really fast? And then, he gives it to her, right? And they end up having it. But I think the buy or sell today, David, with just how much I've seen about this on social media, is buy or sell. There's a major overreaction to Justin Herbert trying not to do a post-game interview with Laura Rutledge.
100%. This is the most overblown thing that I have ever seen. It's ridiculous. Justin Herbert has never done anything to anyone to make them feel like he is a bad person or he doesn't care about what's going on. He understands everything. Justin is incredibly intelligent, but the one thing we know about Justin is he doesn't like the cameras. He never has from the very beginning. He doesn't like the media stuff. He does it. He's very well media trained. All of his answers are very PR. Everything is very by the book. He doesn't really give you much, but that's what he does. This is nothing. This is a complete non-starter, a non-story. Obviously, as you mentioned, I think one of the most important things just to reiterate is most of the time, these type of interviews are set up before the game ends. This is already all situated and all communicated. Maybe this was a failure in that communication to make sure that these things don't happen and this goes smoothly. So this is nothing to be worried about, nothing to be concerned about. Justin Herbert has always had the utmost character, and this doesn't change that one single bit.
Yeah, I mean, people love to hate Justin Herbert, and this is just another, the latest thing, latest installment of that. But I thought that it's kind of the sanctimonious nature of what you saw from some people. I mean, this is from Ben Baby, who covers the Bengals for ESPN, who says, elite stuff from chasing on down Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert, who was as rude as I've ever seen a winning quarterback for a post-game interview for the TV broadcast, handled that like a pro. So, first of all, let me say this. Laura Rutledge didn't do anything wrong. She was persistent, and she went and got the interview that she knew she needed to get. I don't think there was any part of that, and I don't even think she cares. She literally was sharing on her Twitter an Instagram reel of Justin Herbert AI smacking her in the face, which is obviously even crazier. That was questionable in its own right, in its own, itself. So I just thought it was kind of crazy what the reaction was, is if he was like straight up rude to her. Like, he politely declined. Am I wrong? Like, did he? Like, he obviously didn't
He
want
just
to.
said, "I
want to
go celebrate with my teammates." You heard it on the mics.
Yeah, I don't know if he, like, I don't know what he said that made people think that was like overly rude, or he was rude specifically to her, or even that he knew who she was in that moment. Usually, there's a PR person there after even to be like, "Hey, here they are. Here's ESPN. You're on Monday Night Football. You're doing this." Now, again, like Justin Herbert, just do the interview. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, it's not worth all of this. Like, you know that part of this comes with the game. You're the star quarterback in Los Angeles, and you have to just kind of bite the bullet sometimes and do interviews you don't want to do. Now, It looked like he was looking for someone or looking to do something specifically in that moment. I don't know what he was trying to do. We don't know that part of it, and there's always context missing. But to see, like, Chase Daniel piling on, to see, a former Chargers scout and Brantley Weissman piling on saying he was mean to her. What are you talking about? What kind of entitlement are we talking about here? Yes, they were on Monday Night Football. You don't always get the interview you want. But again, Justin Herbert, I don't think he was rude. I think that's blown way out of proportion, and it's just another reason for people who hate Justin Herbert to try to pile on a little bit. So, yeah, I think it was overblown, but I saw it everywhere, all over social media today. I couldn't believe the big reaction that came from it. Another big reaction was news that the Colts are signing quarterback Phillip Rivers, who spent all but one of his seasons with the Chargers, is coming back and signing to the Colts practice squad. Something I did not think we would see. But it leads to this buy or sell here from Jose Alto, who says, buy or sell, we will have a Herbert versus Rivers playoff game this season. Much love as always, guys. Well, David, it'd be an incredibly small likelihood that they could actually meet up in the playoffs, because it would have to be deeper into the playoffs, and both teams would have to make the playoffs. But it does give us an excuse to talk about Phillip Rivers coming back, man. Like, this is crazy. Of course he wants to. Of course he was right there as soon as Daniel Jones gets hurt to be like, hey, I can still go 5 years after he played last.
Well, I think this just signals one thing that was clear when he retired, was clear when he left the Chargers, and is clear now. He wants to win a Super Bowl. He wants that opportunity to eliminate the one blemish from that Hall of Fame resume, which is the lack of a championship. I think that's what this all is about for him. It always has been. He's always been a fiery competitor. We know he loves the game of football. I didn't ever expect this in my wildest dreams after 5 years of not playing organized football. But if anybody's capable of doing something, it is Phillip Rivers. We know it. It's never been about the athleticism for Phil. It's always been about the mind and been about the arm accuracy. And if he has that mind and he has that arm accuracy, he's going to be able to make some things work in an offense that he's extremely familiar with.
Yeah, obviously he spent time with Shane Steichen, who was with the Chargers and was the offensive coordinator for Phillip Rivers at one point, and Justin Herbert in his rookie season, if you think back. So, yeah, I mean, you don't think with him, any part of the issues you're going to have are going to be the parts of the playbook that he can't pick up, right? I think it's just more about me being scared for Phillip Rivers because of the slate that the Colts have coming up. And, like, we'll see if he plays, right? He's on the practice squad. We'll see if Riley Leonard can come back. Obviously, they have Brett Ripp in there. So I think that, like, yeah, there's a chance that he doesn't play at all still, but I still think he is. Like,
he's going to play.
I think he's going out there, man. Like, and like,
no doubt.
Looking at the schedule they have, the Seahawks this weekend, the 49ers, the Jaguars, and the Texans. Like, man, if he wins one of these games, I feel like it almost adds to his resume. But yeah, the playoff success in general, right, like, is what he's missing. Never made it to a Super Bowl. Hurt when they went to the AFC Championship game one time. Like, it's just, it's what eluded him his entire career. And it's what Justin Herbert's trying to get through as well, right? But it is also kind of interesting just because this year, Phillip Rivers is eligible to get into the Hall of Fame. Like, he is on, he's a semifinalist for the Hall of Fame in 2025 right now, or for 2026 class, whatever it is. And he would have to push that back 5 years if he is activated to the active roster or if he plays a snap.
Wild.
One snap, and that gets pushed back 5 years. Now, I think it shows you everything you need to know about him, just not even thinking about that and just trying to go out there. But, like, I don't know, man. I'm not going to doubt him. I'm not going to say he goes 2-2 down the stretch, which is probably what they would need to do at 8-5 to make the playoffs. But, man, like, I feel like he probably is their best chance to win right now. And I'm excited / nervous with the schedule they have ahead for him. But, yeah, I'm excited to see Phillip Rivers throw some footballs again for sure. As long as it's not affecting the Chargers, I will be rooting for that man 100%, even if he wants to come back again next year. But we still have more to get into, including one thing that kind of lingers over this team right now, the offensive struggles and how secure Greg Roman's job is, even if this offense keeps tail spinning. We're getting into all that and more in today's Locked On Chargers podcast. There's no reason to let big wireless drain your wallet, especially during the holidays. Right now, Mint Mobile is running their best deal of the year. All of their unlimited plans are 50% off. That means you can lock in 3, 6, or even 12 months of unlimited premium wireless for just $15 a month. It's the easiest way to take your overpriced phone bill and give it the full Scrooge treatment. And what makes this even better is how simple Mint makes the switch. No contracts, no nonsense, just real savings and real quality service. Switching to Mint lets you keep your same coverage for a lower price. Setup takes only a few minutes. You can bring your own phone number without any issues, and there's no reason not to. The service is fast and super reliable, even on the go. Turn your expensive wireless present into a huge wireless savings future by switching to Mint. Shop Mint Unlimited plans at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNFL. That's mintmobile.com/LockedOnNFL. Limited time offer. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. Taxes and fees. Initial plan term only. Over 35 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com. David, we have more buy or sells to get into, and thank you to the everydayers out there for making us your first listen and for contributing to today's show, because we love getting your guys' overreactions and storylines, because there are always so many flowing around after the game. And on this Buy or Sell Wednesday, we have more to get into, including this one here from Brandon Yobko, who says, buy or sell, given that Jim Harbaugh has never fired an offensive or defensive coordinator, we need to mentally prepare to have Greg Roman as the OC for the remainder of Harbaugh's tenure. David, are you buying or selling that?
Unfortunately, just knowing what we know about Jim Harbaugh and how much he really values loyalty, and we know this relationship. This is something that has cascaded throughout history at multiple different stops between these two guys. So this isn't their first rodeo. They know each other, and also there's a myriad of excuses that are built in that are legitimate. Unfortunately, you have to pay attention to them. The thing is, despite the injuries, losing your star left tackle before the season starts, losing your other star tackle in Joe Alt, losing Najee Harris, not having Omarion Hampton for most of the season, and yet you're still sitting here at 9-4, despite all of the injuries, with the play calling the way it has been. That are legitimate reasons you have to absolutely pay attention to, and they will give credence to no matter how this season ends. I think there's not really anything that he can do for them to fire him in this situation, given the context that we know about.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think like the hard thing is like you think back to the Joe Ortiz, press conference. And I know we're not talking about him specifically, but just like hey, we won 11 games, right? And then you just wonder how much they're able to kind of parse the reason why they're winning these games or the reasons why they won't make a change specifically. Now, what I will say is, although Jim Harbaugh did not fire any offensive coordinators in his NFL stint, which was one stint of 4 years, he fired multiple coordinators in his time at Michigan. One was disgraced and, might have been under, legal, it might have been in legal issues or something, but there were other guys that he ended up moving on from, and some other ones where basically it seemed like soft exits where guys ended up taking opportunities elsewhere. This one, you won't be able to do that. You're going to have to fire someone that you have a long, long history with, and I do think when you go back to Jim Harbaugh saying, like Moses, I'm going to die leaning on my staff, and it does make it hard. Now, I think there's two different kind of questions here. One is, does he get fired this offseason, right? Which is one thing. The other one is, will he be here the entirety of Jim Harbaugh's tenure? Those are two different things. I think if you're talking about just this upcoming season, yeah, he has all the excuses already built in. And you have the two left tackles, really two left tackles, but yeah, your two best tackles are both out. You've had a myriad of injuries on the offensive line, but like, there's worse offensive players. Like, there's worse offensive lines. There's other bad situations, but most of them don't look like this. But again, then you look at the Chiefs last week and see when they're missing a few guys, how that offense looks dysfunctional, right?
Yeah.
And it was against the Texans defense, of course, which is an important context, but still, it matters. It matters having those guys. But the problem is my thing isn't really with the offensive line or even the running game. Like we've seen him get creative in the running game. It's the passing concepts, and you just have no trust in that passing game right now. And I know they have weapons, man. Like you can't tell me Ladd McConkey's not good now. You can't tell me that Oronde Gadsden, who we've seen torch some defenses, is not good now or lost any skill there, right? Like you have Keenan Allen, who when you use him on these third downs is finding a way to get open and make big plays. You have Amarion Hampton back now for the passing game. There's no excuse to have, I mean, Justin Herbert had 130 plus passing yards. 60 of that came on a dump off to Kamani Vidal. It's hard to have any faith in this passing attack. And even with the offensive line where it is right now, it is a stale passing concept. It is predictable, and other teams have the book on him now, and it's not as easy as it once was, and there's just nothing easy for Justin Herbert in this offense. So I like to think it can happen, but unfortunately, it feels like it would take a total disaster over the last 4 games of the season, and then potentially missing the playoffs for that to happen. But obviously, I hope that doesn't happen. But this is from Jacob Beeman, who says, every day from rural upstate New York, close to the Canadian border, a lifetime Chargers fan. Overreaction, buy or sell with Monday night's performance versus the Eagles. The Chargers prove that they are a true AFC threat and can overcome the offensive line adversity. And Justin Herbert solidifies that he 100% has that dog in him. Everyone's buying all of the Justin Herbert dog stock. That part we don't have to get into because we all know it, and he's shown it. But David, are you buying or selling the other part of this?
Yeah, so that's definitely something that, to me, is not sustainable. I mean, the Chargers gave up 28 total pressures in that game against the Philadelphia Eagles. 28. That's a pressure rate over 60%. That is absolutely obscene. Justin is amazing, and he did everything he possibly could to run away and, be productive and, keep drives moving and put them in position to tie and win the game. And he did do that. But Justin Herbert took some violent hits and also was doing everything he could to try to protect his hand. That cannot happen, going forward. They have to have better answers against this ferocious pass rush that they've been seeing. They got to get the ball out quicker. They have to get it out to where they can continue drives, and they got to be able to block better. The amount of free rushers that have been coming after Justin Herbert is completely unacceptable. That just can't happen when you have a quarterback that is playing out there with one hand, even though he's stiff arming with the one he just had surgery on. He's incredible, but the answer is no, it's not sustainable. You have to figure things out in the pass protection game, and if you don't, Justin's just not going to make it through this season.
Yeah, he's just not. And I've seen that sentiment a lot. But we're talking about a passing game that hasn't hit 200 yards in 4 straight games. It hasn't been more than 212 yards in 6 straight games. There's something wrong with this passing game, and it goes even further than just the offensive line because they just have no answers to it. They don't have a quick passing game to counter what they're going up against. They don't have a screen game. They have weapons. They have weapons. But it's just not happening. The guys aren't getting open, which tells me that the offense is way too predictable. And I think that is such a big part of it, which goes back to the Greg Roman of it all. But this is, from Jordan Rodriguez, per Next Gen Stats, Herbert was pressured 68.3% of his dropbacks. And the Eagles only blitzed 12% of the time.
It's crazy.
How crazy also that he got sacked 7 times, knowing how many sacks he escaped in that game, right?
Multiple.
That could have been a double-digit sack game easy, and he did. It's not even like he threw the ball 50 times, right? It's really nuts. It was a brutal performance. You have Mekhi Becton, who gave up 8 pressures, only to be matched by Bobby Hart, who was once our savior, coming in relief of Trey Pipkins and also giving up 8 pressures. Jamari Sawyer had 5. Everybody that played a majority of this game gave up multiple pressures. That's the hard thing, is there's just not one person that you can help with this unit. And the thing is the Eagles defense is good. They're not the Texans. I'll promise you that right now, right? That they're not even the Broncos, honestly, right? You have 3 top 7 defenses still left on your schedule.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you have any faith, in this offense right now, specifically the passing offense. Like the lack of involvement of guys like Ladd McConkey and Oronde Gadsden over the last few games is just inexcusable. That you can't find ways to get those guys good opportunities, or find ways to move the pocket to get those guys in one-on-one situations, or to give Justin Herbert an extra second. It's stale. It's not working. And with the defense you have coming up against, 3 out of the last 4 games in a Dallas team that's playing better defensively. Yeah, man, it's bad offensively right now. They have to figure out this passing attack, and it's hard to do that on the fly, especially on a short week in Arrowhead against the team that's been to the Super Bowl 3 straight times and won 2 of them. But we still have more to get into because we have to talk about multiple time guest on the Locked On Chargers podcast, Tony Jefferson, who has been one of the best bargain signings in the NFL, period, and more in today's Locked On Chargers podcast. First, I need to tell you guys about FanDuel, because with FanDuel, NFL Sundays move fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different, and that's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting, because you're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, and every highlight moment. Live betting is the best when the game starts to shift, a receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. We saw a lot of those in that last game. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. I'm sure there was a lot of people thinking the Chargers were going down in that last game live, but this week the odds are out. Gigantic game with the Chargers trying to finish off and really end the Chiefs season on Sunday, and the Chargers are 4.5-point underdogs against the Kansas City Chiefs. They were underdogs last week. Can they pull it off again this week? If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. David, we still have more to get into here because the everydayers came through in droves, and we have a ton of good buy or sells to get into, including this one, which is, I might say is a pretty good one myself, from Dan Talk Sports, who says this: buy or sell, Tony Jefferson has been one of the best bargain signings in the NFL this season. David, once again, Unc came through, and man, he's just shining a light on how much he deserves to be on this team and how much gas he has left in that tank, man.
And why it was so devastating to us when he didn't make the team coming out of the off season, which I just never understood. He made plays again all preseason long, and it just made no sense to me that they did not keep him on the initial 53. Obviously, it was some roster gymnastics and they were playing the game, and eventually he made it back onto the practice squad and eventually back onto the active roster. But his play on the field, every single time he's on the field, he's making something happen. He's always around the football. His football intelligence is clear. Like he knows what he's doing out there. Like that's what it looks like when you know where you're supposed to be and you are there. Like that's what that looks like. And for Tony Jefferson, almost a 70 overall grade, 36 tackles, 6 passes defensed, and 4 interceptions, basically making the vet minimum. Like there's absolutely no one in the NFL that's providing more for their team than Tony Jefferson on the field and off the field, as one of the clear leaders of the defense, a guy that everybody looks up to, that everybody respects, and a guy that everybody wants to go out there and give their best for.
Yeah, man, and like you said, he's totally rolled with the punches, too. Like, it hasn't been easy for him. He showed what kind of impact player he could be last year, including in the playoff game where he might have been their best defender in the biggest game of the season, even in a game where they might not have played well. Yeah, 4 interceptions is crazy. I mean, he's second amongst safeties, only behind Kevin Byard, who has 6 right now. He's tied for 6th in the NFL with his teammate Dante Jackson and a few others with 4 this season. This is the crazy thing. Before this year, Tony Jefferson had 4 interceptions his entire career.
Wild.
4 interceptions in 10 seasons. And in the year 2025, in the second year of his comeback, he has matched his career total and doubled his career total and is now up to 8 career interceptions. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But just the opportunistic nature of them, too, right? You have the one with Dante Jackson against the Raiders, knocks that ball back in from the sideline, and he is there to somehow stay in bounds. And then this last game, maybe one of the things I undersold last night was just how tough of an interception it was.
Yeah, like reach back with one hand,
full speed running towards the sideline. I mean, it was all chaos last night, but running full speed towards the sideline, to be able to reach back one-handed and pull that thing in. And shout out to Kevin or to Deion Henley for making sure he didn't have his Marlon McCree / Tier Tart / Deshaun
You
Hand
stay
moment.
down. We are done. This is over.
Tackled him
No
to the
fumbles
ground.
here.
Yeah. But man, what an incredible comeback story. Can't wait to get him on again. I mean, we were so sure he was going to make it and had, plans to have him on the show after he made the initial 53-man roster, right? So to have that happen, to kind of be benched and made a healthy scratch for a game this season because of RJ Mickens coming up, like, man, he's just proven everyone wrong.
That ain't happening the rest of the season.
Yeah,
you can take that to the bank.
Yeah, and then Jim Harbaugh said he might be pushing back that coaching career a couple more seasons if he keeps playing like this. But, like, it's not just that he hadn't played since 2022 when the Chargers signed him in 2024. It's that he hadn't played in more than 10 games since 2018. And he's about to play in his 10th game of the season on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs. So what can you say about Tony Jefferson? Yeah, he's one of the best value signings in the NFL for sure. Let's get to this next one here, David, an important one. Buy or sell, if the Chargers pass rush can continue to show up, they will have a shot to beat these good teams down the stretch.
100% buy. Definitely. This is the key to success because no matter what's happening on the offensive side, if the defense plays like this, they can definitely win these games and they can stay in every single football game because of what they're doing. 22 total pressures, including 6 from Odafe, another 6 from Khalil Mack, another 4 from Tuli Pelotu. If they get that pressure, man, that is going to continue the turnover streak that they've been able to acquire so far. That pressure is the key to it. Like, if you're able to continue to mix it up, and it's not just from the pass rushers, it's everybody. Everybody has to get involved as a team defense to be able to get this pass rush to its max capacity. Obviously, that means the edge rushers. That means your linebackers. That also means your corners and safeties. Everybody's got to get in on the act and stay getting in on the act if they want to continue what they've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers, players were credited with 22 pressures in that game. And also, I mean, that's an Eagles offensive line that's been beat up and has no Lane Johnson for sure. They give up 4 pressures the week before against the Bears. So as much as, they've been struggling to run block, they've still been able to pass protect pretty well. And the Chargers got after him and it made the difference. I mean, how many of those interceptions were him under pressure or under duress? Pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
So I think that when you see that, it's like, okay, yes, that's what you need. You're going to especially need it this weekend against Patrick Mahomes. But to your point, there's no coincidence the Chargers have been kind of ramping up the pressure, and then now the takeaways have been starting to flow a little bit for this team. But hey, man, shout out to Odafe. Had a bad moment in the game, but was their most consistent pass rusher. Had a 30% pass rush win rate. Get that man some more pass rushing snaps. Because he's definitely
earning himself
them
a nice little contract for sure.
He definitely is. I mean, we'll see who that's with. But let's get to this last one here. Speaking of the takeaways, because that has been another stark shift for this Chargers defense and been a big part of their turnaround. And the buy or sell is this. Buy or sell, the Chargers takeaway streak is sustainable.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it. And the reason why I'm going to buy that it's sustainable is 3 things. 1, the scheme. The scheme the last few games has been fantastic. The game plan has been intentional, and they have done exactly what they want to do. So the scheme, then the second thing is that pass rush. We just talked about that right there, mixed with the great coverage ability and the ball hawks they have on the back end of this Chargers defense. All of those 3 things married up together means incredible turnover success. That's the recipe right there. If they continue that recipe against these other teams, those are going to continue to flow, and they are going to keep winning the Chargers football games.
And I think they just need it, right? Like, this is not the most talented defense in the league, but I thought, your third thing there after the first 2 you laid out was just going to be Dante Jackson, because that's a big reason for it too. And man, after a slow start, it's heating up in a big way. I mean, we're talking about 3 interceptions in 4 games.
Yeah.
I mean, Dante Jackson, I'm so sorry, my bro, that we underestimated that signing. I think, we weren't as harsh on it as others, but the Chargers had a vision here. All the metrics pointed against the Chargers signing this guy, and he's just been ridiculously good. And honestly, like, maybe a buy or sell in the future, David, Dante Jackson, the best player on this defense so far this year with how well he's played. I mean, he's had a lot of passer rating. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying reception percentage under 50% is crazy. Less than 200 receiving yards and only 1 touchdown allowed. Dante Jackson has been straps, seatbelts all season long.
100%. And the thing is he's allowed a passer rating of 34.1 this season. Only 2 games this year he's had given up more than 21 yards in 2 of his games. Yeah, like it just he's been awesome. But I think the crazier thing is, the Chargers have turned the ball over in 4 straight games. They've turned it over 10 times total in those 4 games, which is awesome after going 3 games without a takeaway in the 3 games leading up to it. Maybe the craziest part, Tarheeb still doesn't even have his first pick yet.
This is true.
Right? Like,
wow.
I mean, that's really crazy. So, like, to think, I mean, if he gets hot, man, I mean, Cam Hart, first career interception, if Tarheeb still comes around and starts making some plays on footballs here, and the Chargers have been more aggressive, and I think that's the reason why maybe it's a little bit more sustainable. Yeah, man, they're going to get some more, and they're absolutely going to need them because this Chargers offense is tough to watch right now, and they need this defense to set up some points for their offense, and they did it last game, right? 5 turnovers, but obviously 2 of them on the same play, and the Chargers only scored 6 points off them. Now, you can't score when the last turnover is, the game is over. You know what I mean? So that's part of it, and you can't score off it, in one of the turnovers.
Yeah, I'll take that.
2 on the same play, but either way, they need it. It's an imperfect defense, but they're aggressive and they're starting to get hot at the right time, and that's how they can kind of balance things out when their offense is struggling the way that it is right now. But that's going to wrap things up for today's show. Make sure you guys are back here tomorrow for Crossover Thursday. Locked on Chargers, Locked on Chiefs, and man, it's the Chargers going for the kill here. It's the Chargers going to try to knock the champs off, or the 2 out of the last 3 champs off, the champs of the AFC West off, and really just end their season. And it's going to be incredibly tough to do because once you have, a team that's had as much success as them, once you get them cornered, it's going to be really, really tough to take them out. But I'm really glad the Chargers will get a chance to do it. So make sure you guys are back here for that tomorrow by following or subscribing free on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel and listening wherever you get your podcast from, as well as finding the show every day on all of our social media at Locked On LAC on Twitter, at Locked On Chargers on Instagram, and our Locked On Chargers Facebook page. You can also call into the voicemail line at 323-524-7924 and give us your 30-second Chargers buy or sell question or bold prediction. But make sure you guys are back here tomorrow for Crossover Thursday. Until then, guys, take it easy and go Bolts.